Hello, this is Mark Satterfield, and welcome to the Velvet Rope Playbook. Tonight's chapter: the most expensive free advice ever given. A financial advisor once spent 45 minutes giving a wealthy prospect free advice to build trust. He talked about tax efficiency, portfolio diversification, liquidity strategies, everything short of offering to walk the guy's dog. The conversation went beautifully. The prospect nodded, took notes, asked sharp questions. When it wrapped up, he said, "Thanks, this was great. I'll have my guy do that." And in that single sentence, the advisor realized what had just happened. He had auditioned for a role that someone else already held. And that's the danger of free advice. It proves your value, but removes your leverage. Most professionals give free advice for the same reason people overtip bartenders at golf clubs. It feels good to be liked. We're taught that generosity creates goodwill, that sharing your expertise builds trust, that offering insights for free will somehow lead to paid business later. And sometimes it does. But with affluent clients, the calculus changes. The wealthy aren't impressed by generosity. They're reassured by selectivity. What I mean is that they don't want to be educated, they want to be certain. When you give away your thinking for free, you don't build trust, you dissolve mystique. You turn your strategy into trivia. What the prospects hear isn't "this person is brilliant," it's "this person gives away brilliance easily, therefore it must not be that rare." The affluent buy confidence. And the moment you start teaching instead of leading, you shift from expert to explainer. There's an old saying that free advice is worth what you pay for it. But in the affluent market, your free advice might actually cost you six figures. Every time you just have a quick chat or offer a few thoughts, you're showing your cards without collecting a single ante. Now, that might work in mass market sales where volume compensates for generosity. But in the high net worth world, scarcity is the asset. What's rare commands respect. That's why the best luxury advisors, consultants, and agents don't give away their thinking. They sell access to it. And if you'd like to learn how to do the same, how to lead with value without giving it away, visit getwealthyclients.com. Inside, you'll find my programs and books on how to position your expertise so clients gladly pay you for your insight, not just your time. To understand why free advice backfires, you have to understand the psychology of the affluent. They don't chase value, they assume it. What they chase is certainty. They want the person across from them to exude calm authority, the kind that says, "I've solved this problem 100 times before for people just like you." When you start giving free advice, you're subconsciously saying, "I need to prove I'm worth your attention." And that's the kiss of death. Affluent clients are drawn to professionals who don't need to prove anything. They want to be guided, not convinced. Now, the irony? The more you teach them, the less they need you. Free advice often gives the affluent the illusion of understanding, a dangerous mix of partial knowledge and complete confidence. They walk away thinking, "I can have my guy do that." For example, imagine walking into a doctor's office. Before you've even described your symptoms, she launches into a 45-minute explanation of anatomy, chemistry, and physiology, complete with diagrams. You probably think, "Impressive knowledge, but can she fix me?" Now imagine a different doctor. She listens, nods once, and says, "I've seen this before. I can help." Which one are you paying? That's how affluent clients think. They don't pay for the tutorial, they pay for the transfer of certainty. So when you start adding value with free education, you're accidentally removing the very thing they want to buy, the sense that you already know. There's a story I tell at workshops about a luxury real estate agent who used to host free consultations. She'd give prospective sellers an hour of market insights, pricing analysis, and staging advice, only to watch them hire another agent to execute her ideas. So she stopped offering free consultations. She began calling them private listing strategy sessions, charging $500 up front, and included the fee towards her commission if they hired her. Within 6 months, not only did her conversion rate double, her perceived authority skyrocketed. The act of charging reframed her thinking from helping to advising. That's the paradox. People trust what they pay for. In the affluent market, certainty is the product. So think of it like this. Every time you give free advice, you give the prospect something to do instead of something to decide. They leave the meeting with homework, not commitment. You've given them a to-do list and a reason not to hire you. The moment you provide answers, the urgency disappears. There's nothing left to solve. They walk away believing they can handle it, or worse, that someone else can do it cheaper. Instead of being the person who creates clarity, you've become the person who gave them a PowerPoint. Affluent clients don't want homework, they want resolution. So, how do you shift from free advice to paid authority? One, define the boundary early. When someone says, "Can I pick your brain?" respond, "I'd love to discuss that. I reserve time each week for a private strategy session. Let's set one up." Two, name the process. Give your first engagement a title. Don't call it a consultation. Call it a strategic wealth review or private client blueprint. Naming implies value. Value justifies price. Three, frame the fee as respect. I charge for my initial session because I invest time in understanding your unique situation. It ensures we're both serious about results. Four, stay calm. The affluent test boundaries by asking for favors. Your willingness to hold your ground earns respect. They admire professionals who behave like peers, not petitioners. That's what my program, the High Net Worth Confidence Code, is all about. How to lead with composure, authority, and clarity so you never feel pressured to give away your expertise again. And you can find it at getwealthyclients.com. What's ironic is that the moment you stop giving away free advice, your advice becomes more valuable. When a prospect pays for your thinking, they listen differently, they take notes, they act, they trust. The act of payment transforms the dynamic from favor to engagement. It moves you from helpful to hired. Think of a luxury brand like Hermes. They don't hand out scarves to prove quality. They assume you can recognize it. Their silence is the marketing. Their price is the persuasion. You should treat your intellectual capital the same way. One of the hardest lessons to learn in the affluent market is the art of detachment, the ability to let go of those who don't value your time. When a prospect says, "Could we have a quick call to see if it's a fit?" they're really testing your boundaries. The confident professional responds, "Of course. I offer initial strategy sessions for $750. It's fully credited towards an engagement if we decide to move forward." 9 out of 10 will vanish, and that's good. The 10th will become your best client. The affluent want to be around people who act like them, people who treat time, energy, and expertise as finite, precious resources. The moment you start treating your knowledge like currency, the marketplace does too. So let's go back to our original financial advisor, the one who gave away 45 minutes of brilliance. What he realized painfully was that he had trained his prospect to see him as a free resource. The prospect didn't mean to insult him. He simply took the relationship at the value it was presented. Zero. The advisor changed his process. No more free consultations. Every meeting had a defined purpose, a name, and a fee. Within a year, he was closing fewer leads but earning far more. Because real professionals don't sell time, they sell thinking. Affluent buyers don't want to learn how to do it themselves. They want to know that you can. And if you want to impress them, there's a simple rule: charge them to think. A final thought: free advice feels generous. But for those of us who work with the affluent, it's the most expensive gift we can give. It robs you of authority, trains clients to undervalue expertise, and replaces leadership with labor. When you make the decision to stop giving away your brilliance, something remarkable happens. Your confidence rises, your positioning sharpens, and your calendar fills with people who don't want answers, they want you. That's when you've crossed the line from service provider to trusted strategist, and that's the entire goal. If you'd like to learn how to make that shift, to elevate your positioning, protect your expertise, and turn free advice into a paid advantage, then visit getwealthyclients.com. You'll find programs, books, and trainings designed to help you lead with certainty, command premium fees, and become the professional affluent clients respect, remember, and refer. This is Mark Satterfield. Thanks for listening to this chapter of the Velvet Rope Playbook. I'll be back at you soon with something new. So until then, bye for now.